The indices have bounced back. We'll talk about where they could go from here. I also want to give some updates on some individual stocks that I've been covering on this channel. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education, and if you see a pony with a sore throat, it's probably just a little horse. So last week we saw the S&P and the Nasdaq both briefly go oversold to start the trading day and then recover throughout the trading day. And I said possibly coming off the oversold status, we could see a little bit of a give back. 2% for the S&P, and then for the Nasdaq, specifically the Nasdaq 100, using QQQ to track it, possibly 2 to 3% that we have there. And we'll take a look and see what that looks like on the charts. I do want to continue to push value and service on this channel. Along those lines, later on, I will tell you how to use the link down in the description for Moomoo to get up to 16 free stocks and access to my exclusive content through the Patreon. In the meantime, I do want to get right to the charts that we have and my commentary that I have, not only for the indices, but also for some of the stocks that I've been tracking on here, following on this, talk about where they're at, what we saw happen from Friday, and what we can expect going forward from here. So here's the chart for the SPY, and where my cursor is right now is on Friday's close, and we closed on Friday at 436.50, and right now we're at about 437.91, and the S&P is up almost about 0.4% as of the recording this video. I did say from Friday maybe we see about a 2% recovery, and then we're going to have to replan from there. We do have the Jackson Hole Summit coming up. Well, it doesn't start on Friday, but Jerome Powell speaks on Friday at 10:05 a.m. So mark your calendars for that one. Could be a little bit choppy. I do think that sometime throughout the week that we see 2% up from Friday's close. So that's for the S&P tracked by the SPY. Let's go over the Qs, which tracks the Nasdaq 100. And I said 2 to 3% onto this. And right now we're about a full percent up. We are giving back a little bit right now from where we were at. We did peak a little bit higher. We could look at the intraday values for that. And you can see that we spiked right around here. So with that high price being put in, let's go back out to the daily chart. We can actually see that high price on here. That high price is 362. We're currently at 361.50-ish, like I said, as of the recording of this video. So from where we closed at last week, which is 358, 2% on that is about $7, so about $365, possibly up to $368 is what we could see sometime during this week. We're going to have to see if we get a run up to that Jackson Hole Summit, or if we start to sell off leading up to it. Maybe Thursday's that weekday that we get, so I could possibly see the market sort of peaking this week at around Wednesday. But like I said, Thursday could still leave us open for it, and then Friday could be where we get blood in the streets, possibly depending on how much we worry about what Jerome Powell has to say. So we want to listen to him talking about the reigniting of inflation, recession, and also rate hikes. Those are the 3 R's. I talked about that in one of my previous videos. So let me go from here. I want to go over to SOFI, because for SOFI, I said that we had hard support at $8 per share. And on Friday, we actually bottomed out. The low price was $7.89, and we opened at $7.92. The high price on this one was $8.29. We closed at $8.22. So we found that sort of support that we're looking for without going oversold. So that's actually pretty darn good for SOFI, and it is still, because they're still a profitless company, although coming like a freight train. Some people say as early as Q3. I think Anthony Noto still says Q4 is when to expect that profitability to take place, and we know that student loans are going to enter repayment, and we want to see how SOFI is capitalizing on those. So far, for SOFI, that support is holding up for us at $8 per share, and right now they're not really joining the party too much, but that was a decent recovery. I am a long-term investor in SOFI, so just riding out those shares and taking advantages of the drops that we get. I was really hoping for a strong drop down below $8 per share. It is nice to see support hold, but I do like cheap stocks. So I'm going to move on from there over to my friend Tesla. So Tesla, and again, I haven't moved these lines for the bullish channel that we're in. You can see that we treated it as support before, and we just came down and smooched it just real quick on Friday, and then had a nice little bounce today, and $230 is where resistance is, and right now we're trading at about $228. The high price that we traded at was $229.93.5. So $229.94 is where this thing peaked so far today. So we'll see if they continue that strength. But like I said, expect to have hesitation at around $230 per share. Maybe we do soften a little bit from there. We're just going to have to see. We did get some news about Malaysia that deals are improving in there for Tesla. And then also, let me put this up here for you, that we did have a leak of the Cybertruck being stomped around. There we go. being stomped around an Iceland glacier. So doing a little bit of off-roading coming up. And then this was also shared on X. This is the one that I found. CRAR is the guy who posted it. Don't know who it is. This is just where I found the video of the Cybertruck. So you can see it following, I believe it's either a Land Rover or Range Rover driving through there. And it's not that exciting of a video to watch. So you can go ahead and watch it. I think the exciting part is that we are getting closer to the release of that Cybertruck. So for Tesla, I said that we'd have support around 211, 212, and we went down to a low price of $212.36. And then I got asked today over in the Discord, where do you see support and resistance? I reiterated 211, 212 for support, down to 200 after that, should we break through, by the way, just so that way I mentioned it. 230 is where we find that resistance, and so far that's held true. And like I said, I have that over at the Discord. So if you guys want to be part of my Patreon, by the way, where you can communicate with me through my Discord and also get access to my Patreon exclusive content, that is available by using the link down in the description. So here's what the page looks like when you get over there, and then there's the tiers that follow. And I do have my NVIDIA stock price prediction and also my NVIDIA earnings forecast coming up. And their earnings, by the way, are Wednesday after the market closes. So we also want to be on the lookout for that. And then also one more thing that I want to put up for you are the free stocks from Moomoo. You get up to 16 free stocks using my link down in the description. You make your deposit of $100 or more, and you get your free stocks and a $50 cash reward. 5 free stocks for the $100 deposit. $1,000 and $5,000 deposit gets you 15 free stocks. The $5,000 tier gets you the free share of Tesla and Google as well. I got people signing up and enjoying their free stocks, so go ahead and join those. And that goes along with the lines of value and service that I keep on pushing through my channel, and I will do as much as I can for that. I also want to mention that my Tesla stock price prediction and Tesla earnings forecast I'll be updating for Q3 probably over the next month, definitely by the time that we get October's delivery numbers coming up. Well, the delivery numbers that get announced for the quarter, October 2nd, that'll be when I can really put it all together for you and have that out as soon as possible so we know what to expect for earnings for Q3 when they get reported. I believe that should be around the end of October. All right, let's get back to Moomoo so we can put up NVIDIA's chart. And NVIDIA's having a heck of a day. I was actually surprised to see it go back over $450 so soon. I'm pleased with it. Now, when we were under the 50-day, that was a little bit of trouble for me because I said we could possibly have that run up to 500. And if we had the 50-day acting as resistance for us, well, then we had to break over it. Well, the markets were on our side today. I've expected some excitement leading up to those earnings, and we are getting that excitement. You could see these previous tops that we have for NVIDIA. Let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it better. And you can see the orange line here. You can see we sort of danced around it back here. And that's also where we peaked up the last time that we had an itty bitty bounce going on. So breaking up above that 453. As a matter of fact, 455 is where we really start to clear out. And then we can push on from there up to that 468, 470. But we have a bunch of resistance heading back up towards that 450. I still think that possibly we could get that run up, especially if the markets are there to support us. If the markets are not there to support us on that run to 450 prior to earnings, it's going to be tough to get there. I still think it's possible that we get strong enough earnings and guidance that we still hit the 500. If we don't hit it before, that we hit it afterwards. So we're going to have to watch and see what happens. And people are asking me, like, what do you expect then from earnings? Are we going to get a pop on earnings? Well, it depends. 500 before earnings, I think we soften, especially for the next trading day for Thursday that comes around. By the time we actually get to trade when the market opens, I think that we could possibly soften from that 500. However, if we don't get the run up to 500 prior to earnings and we get the 500 after earnings, that's something that could possibly see it popping up a little bit more from there. And I have, like I said, shared my NVIDIA stock price prediction and NVIDIA earnings forecast over at the Patreon. That link's down in the description, as well as that link for the free stocks through Moomoo. So going back to NVIDIA's chart, 450, we're up above it. Good. It would be nice to see a full candle go up above that, maybe in tomorrow's trading day, especially if the market's with us. If the market fights against the price action for NVIDIA, that's something that mutes the results. That's downward pressure on NVIDIA's stock price. And then we have to pay attention to macroeconomic sentiment, for example, and just outside factors, because this doesn't exist on its own. It exists within a marketplace, so there's always going to be outside influence that goes along with it. It's just not NVIDIA stock price itself. And as far as economic weakness, I think that NVIDIA is fairly well insulated against recession by the way that they're positioned. I think that companies are going to have to spend through in their push towards AI and generative AI technologies, and NVIDIA is at the heart of that right now, and it's very much worth paying attention to. And if you want to know, is NVIDIA stock overpriced, or is NVIDIA stock fairly priced, or is NVIDIA stock underpriced? Like I said, that NVIDIA stock price prediction and NVIDIA earnings forecast is available over at the Patreon. That link is down in the description, as well as your link for Moomoo for those 16 free stocks. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning, and we'll see you in the next video.